Alright, so going over a closer look at his details.
Wait, hold on 1 second, put me down. Don't you usually have a skit at the start of these videos?
Well, yeah, I normally do, but I couldn't really think of anything for you because I just haven't seen your movie yet, so, yeah, just figured just do the review like normal.
So what you're saying is you couldn't think of anything to do with any of my stats? Like how I just tower over all the other kaijus? Or how this lady and I could possibly be related? Or how me and this cruelly imprisoned figure look very similar?
Let me out of here! Okay, get this guy out of the way because I've already had one of these previously, so we don't need to open this one. Personally, I thought all those jokes would be just way too easy to do, and I just didn't really feel like going that route and couldn't think of anything better to do, so we're here now. But if you'd stop complaining for a second, I made you this little base that you can stand on.
Nope, can't say that really does it for me.
Hey, just hold on 1 gosh darn minute. How come he gets to have a fancy stand and I don't?
Okay, first, aren't you supposed to be in retirement? And second, I did make you a stand. It sits in my basement right now because I don't have room upstairs for, but eventually it'll make its way up, so you have one.
Nope, that's definitely for my totally not better replacement of me.
Okay, just for the record, he said that, not me.
Well, did he at least do a skit for your video?
Well, sorta. It was kind of like this video here, but with a lot more hate thrown towards me.
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, everybody needs to pity me.
Okay, that still doesn't explain how you got down here because you're supposed to be, in your case, retired because you're losing paint because of those things we said previously in that other video. Well, I didn't say, but Facebook people said, but it kind of is true. Anyways, go back upstairs.
You don't have the power to tell me what to do.
Oh, yeah, I do, because watch what I could do so easily.
Steve, you will not keep me cooped up in that case up there. It's a horrible place where everything goes.
Why did I have to end up at this reviewer's house? Diego Doom seems like such a nicer guy.
Hey Rangers, welcome to Super Important Views. My name's Steve, and today we're going over the MonsterArts Godzilla 2017, which is based off of the new anime Godzilla film, Godzilla Planet of Monsters, or as some of you might know it as Monster Planet still. But they'll also be coming out on Netflix sometime early next year, hopefully. But we are finally getting our first crack at a Godzilla figure over on this channel because we previously did the plushie, which is super cool, but I didn't really have much of an interest in picking up the vinyls. Like, I kind of want, I think it's called like Servium, but for the most part, like, I didn't really like how the vinyl looked for what I seen, so I decided to just wait it out for the MonsterArts one. If I see it eventually, I might grab it, but right now it's not really a top concern for me. But for the actual kaiju, looks cool. I actually like the overall design and the appearance of the monster, at least from what I've seen. But the thing is, for this review especially, I don't really know that much about this Godzilla yet because I haven't seen it. I haven't been looking up anything about it. I did get one thing spoiled for me, but I'll try to keep that away from you guys. But anyways, so if you guys are going to be watching this and if I mention something and it's not quite accurate, again, I haven't really seen the film as of yet. Pretty much I have to wait till it comes on Netflix. But anyways, without further ado, for the packaging. This is actually the back of the box here with Godzilla roaring. You got the Godzilla 2017, SC MonsterArts, Godzilla 2017, Tamashii Nation Bandai. Top of the packaging, you just get some translucent plastic, some more Godzilla. Side, back view of Godzilla that we've seen on a lot of the promotional material. Opposite side, him in some dynamic poses. Front side, you would actually get to see Godzilla. I also realized I have the insert completely wrong in there. But anyways, this would be generally the front of the box, so you can actually see the toy inside of the packaging. You also get some special thanks there, and some legal mumbo jumbo on the bottom. So, let's go get him off the shelf. Alright, so now we got the big boy opened up out of his plastic, well, actually just off the shelf, but he was in a prison. For the overall stance of the monster, and just to give you guys a nice back away shot of the shape of the Godzilla, looks really good, except for right there is bothering me, because I think it's a little speck of something. It's coming off. I was like, if there's a chip paint on this thing, we're gonna have some issues here. But anyways, looking good so far. But what you can see with this Godzilla is he's shaped very much like the 2014 Godzilla with a very bulky body. Very streamlined dorsal spines. Overall, very legendary inspired. One thing though is like you can see here with like the way his legs are, they're like super long. Really thick, big body, but like everything else is really nice and muscular and like very thin, but it's just like the bulk of this guy's body is huge in comparison to everything else. Like, I don't know, it looks like he's prego to me. Possibly. So, but I think for me, if they maybe would have like slimmed down the stomach a little bit and like still kept the muscle definition, but like slimmed it down a bit, that would have been really cool. But for overall, for like again the design, I still really like it because again, 2014 thought it was a really cool look for Godzilla, and it transitions pretty nicely here, especially with a lot of the overall plant design of the kaiju. And moving in for a closer look. For the head sculpt, looks really, really nice. I know I say that a lot on these MonsterArts figures, but for the most part, there's not really much to complain about here. Especially from what I've seen on the trailers, what have you. Like, this thing looks gorgeous. One thing is, though, that you'll kind of have with the problem with the entire figure in general, is it's a very monotone colored kaiju. Because it's just a lot of like forest green, dark greens, a little bit of grays, and then for the spines, you definitely got these same kind of greens going on, but a little bit more of a gloss finish. And for the head, it's not anything different. Like even the teeth are the same coloring, but as you've seen in the trailer, like it's not like the teeth really are distinguishable. Though it might have been nice to maybe seen some pupils for the eyes, because to me they just kind of look like black. Or possibly like a very dark green, kind of like what they've been using for the spines here. And it's like that for both of the eyes. Which I guess makes sense, because they can't screw them up if they're like that. Like, you won't have to worry about derpy eyes with any of your 2017 Godzillas, which is cool. And there's enough, like, details and characteristics throughout this entire thing to really not have any complaints. Because, like, for the scaling, looks great. Looks like, kind of like bark mixed in with muscle fiber. Like it just gives him like a very intimidating look. But for the rest of his face, it does slim in. Definitely on the front, which gives him a little bit more of like a canine snout. But for the undersection of the jaw, he's got some ridges here. Give it a little bit of added detail. And what's kind of cool too is for the tongue, it's actually flesh tone. Like it's got a lot of reds and blacks for the tongue. But the rest of the mouth here is all the same green tones that's for the rest of his body. And then moving down to the rest of his body, which again, very nicely detailed. You got a lot of muscle definition on the front here. He has a 8-pack, because there's 1, 2, 3, like a 6-pack. That's kind of where the lower region starts. And why does he have a little the two spots? I guess that's kind of more dinosaurish. In a way, it's very tiny though, but okay, cool. But he's got some more muscle definition on the top section of his pecs here, which go into his biceps, which again, looks freaking jacked. Big pop pump. Like, if you guys remember like old WCW, like WWE, like with Scott Steiner, holler if you hear me, Freakzilla. I think that's who inspired this guy. Like he's just got muscles on muscles, and I kind of wish he was able to kiss his own bicep. But sadly, the arms aren't quite that posable. That and this side likes to sink in a lot for me. But for his hands are a little bit more clenching inwards, which is pretty basic Godzilla pose, but works really well. Same kind of coloring that you have for the rest of the monster here. But the nails are definitely a little bit pointy with some detailing work on the palms as well. For his legs are very long and very like slender compared to the rest of his body. Which was the thing that kind of threw me off, because 2014 Godzilla has very large legs to kind of help support his body. Well, this one's definitely more traditional Godzilla, in a sense. Like, that's what kind of throws me off, is everything's fairly traditional in a sense, except for like the pointed tip at the end of the tail. But the centerpiece for the body is what's definitely a little bit more, I'm going to say, Americanized. And yeah, it still throws me through a bit of a loop. Then, like, on his kneecaps here, there's definitely some kind of growth. Because both of them have this lighter shade of green on his kneecaps. And it's spread out a little bit here and there on the kaiju, but there's a giant chunk of it right there. And it just looks like his knees are kind of calloused over, which is kind of funny too, because you can actually sit him on his knees if you want to. So we got that joke going for us. But there's also some cool little added details where you got some veins or vines wrapping around his legs on the bottom towards his feet. Look really cool. Give him a little bit added character. For the bottom of his feet, it actually raises up just a little bit to make it a little bit more realistic. With, again, the nails being the same color as the body, which I kind of wish were maybe like a little bit darker. I haven't really seen the film, but it might have been nice to have a little bit more detailing there for the end of the nails. But outside of that, just very slender legs. Like this Godzilla, I'm pretty sure would be a really awesome hitchhiker. For his dorsal spines are a glossy shade of forest green with a little bit of a lighter green towards the tips. Very maple leaf looking. Like, I live pretty close to the border of Canada, and I feel like this is probably the most Canadian Godzilla we have ever gotten. Because, especially with these. What's cool, too, is there's like a little sectioning of dorsal spines in between the plates as well. Which I'm now noticing. So he technically has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 segmenting rows. 3 giant ones and 4 smaller rows that come down to 3 towards the base of the tail. And then pretty much go all the way to here. And then right towards the tip, you get the one section. With, again, pointy little end, very 2014-ish. And there's even what appears to be stems on the inside of his dorsal spines, which really helped to give it that leafy appearance as well. Which is a really cool, unique look for this monster. And then, same with finishing his tail up. Very unique as well, because for a lot of the Godzillas, there's usually like segmenting plates and sections that kind of give the tail its more like rounded edge for the Japanese Godzillas. And then 2014 was very streamlined like this, but still has that more segmenting armor plating on this side. While this, to me, kind of looks like it's supposed to be one solid piece and you just have the muscles kind of wrapping upwards is what's going to pretty much give your segmenting. But when you articulate it, it leaves a lot of these gaps that kind of make it look like bark on the undersection of its tail, which I think is pretty cool look. But when you straighten it out, it definitely looks a little bit more dinosaur than what you would see or on other Godzillas. Now moving on to his articulation, his head can look up about that far, down about... His head likes to pop out if you move it too far out. If I can get the fix. Can look down about that far. Shimmy side to side. A little bit of a rotation. His mouth can move up and down, but you don't get a lot of range of motion there, which is probably my biggest nitpick, is I kind of wish he'd have a little bit of a bigger roar. But still not too bad. Well, no, like he's got some giant straps here. Like we didn't mention that, but holy cow. For his arms can go up about that far, down about that far, can rotate all the way around. A lot of play on the arms. It's got a nice bend here at the elbow. Hand can rotate. Also has a nice little swivel there. One thing I want to point out though is mine, this little piece of plastic plating likes to shift. And I got a giant gap there. I can fix it, but it's just a lot of playing with it and trying to get it to angle correctly. Which I think is the problem here, is I think it's just not sitting right in the arm. There we go. And if I can get the rotate without the bicep, there we go. But, alright, so one thing is, when you're articulating him, he's pretty gappy, especially in the shoulder regions. Because even moving this one, he's got a lot of segment. Because even moving like this one around, he's got a lot of empty gaps, and you can even see around the legs too. Which you can fix with articulating, but if you have his legs out wide, you're definitely going to notice it a lot more than keeping them more inwards and compact. But even then, still a decent amount of gapping as well. For his body, can look forward about that far, backwards about that far. Little bit of a rotation. Be careful though not to rub into the spines, because it looks like right there that is definitely going to rub. So just be very wary when messing around with it. But it does have a little bit of a shimmy side to side as well. His legs can go outwards about that far, inwards about that far, forward kick about that far, backwards kick about that far, nice bend at the knee, a little bit of rotation, also a rotation at the top of the thigh. And then he's actually got a joint here, a joint at the foot, which you can wiggle and move a little bit forward and back. And then for his tail, can bend upwards about that far, downwards about that far, and then can swing side to side. Really nice range of motion on the tail, and also holds its pose pretty well. And for some quick comparisons, here is the SH MonsterArts 2017 Godzilla compared to actually some other SH MonsterArts figures, with the SH MonsterArts Biollante and Shin Godzilla, the original version. And here's compared next to the SH MonsterArts Triple K Godzilla 1989 and the Tamashii Mix Poster Mecha Godzilla. And here's some other random giant monster things in my collection, with the Robot Spirits Evangelion Unit 0 from Neon Genesis Evangelion and the SH Figure Arts Ultraman Orb. And here's some NECA Kaijus with the Godzilla 1984/5 and the Pacific Rim Hardship. And here's some random figures that we got for Christmas this year, which this one's actually technically our Nez's gift. But we have the Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Star Series Frieza Final Form, which technically there's a gold form, so it's not really Final Form, but I'll forget the box. And the Transformers Takara Masterpiece Cheetor. So overall with the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 2017, I actually am very impressed with this figure. Granted, it's a very monotone colored Godzilla, but in terms of detail, it looks really nice. Like, I think they did a really great job on the skin texturing. His head sculpt looks cool. Maybe could use some pupils on the eyes again, but kind of makes up for it because his dorsal spines look sweet. And same with his tail. Like, I just really enjoy pretty much everything about this Godzilla figure. Like, if this thing maybe came with a beam effect, this could possibly be my favorite Godzilla of this year that's come out. Which is saying something, because I actually thought they kind of redeemed themselves a lot on the Awakening Shin Godzilla figure. But I feel like in terms of just overall detail and design that they did a really good job on this guy. So if you guys are able to acquire him, you're going to have to import him or go through a third-party site in order to get him, because he isn't going to be making his way stateside. But for me, he was about $90 after shipping, which definitely seems like a pretty good deal for him, because he was about like $70-ish plus $20 shipping. So if you guys are really into the 2017 anime and want definitely a very original looking Godzilla for your collection, I highly recommend picking up the MonsterArts figure. But what do you guys think? Have you guys seen the 2017 anime? What's your favorite not live action Godzilla film? Or trees just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. Look closer pictures of this guy on our Facebook. If you want to click the link in the description below. We also have a Patreon account with exclusive prints for the channel, also down in the description. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.